In this video, we are going to take a look at how we can style our contact form 7, which looks something like this, and then turn it into something like this. So if that sounds interesting and you also want to spice up your content form design, then hop in and I'll show you everything step by step. My name is Ankit Sharma from the team POSIMYTH, and if you want to deep dive in the world of Gutenberg, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we upload our next video. So let's dive in our WordPress backend and see how we can style our contact form. So here we are in our WordPress backend, and if we go in the plugin section, here we have the Plus Addons for Block Editor free as well as the Pro version. But in order to style up your forms, you don't need the Pro version of Plus Addons. You can do that by just using the free version of this plugin. So once you have installed this, you can go to Plus Settings and then click on Plus Blocks. And here we need to search for external form, and this is the external form styler block. So as you can see, this is part of the free version, and in order to use that, make sure you turn it on and then just click on save. And along with that, we have already installed the contact form 7 plugin. And once you add this plugin, you can go to the contact settings here. And we already have a sample form from the plugin itself. So let's click on edit, and here are some sample basic fields that you need for a contact form. Now let's go ahead and copy this shortcode from here so that we can add this form in our contact page. So here we go to pages and then edit our contact page. So let's go ahead and add a block. So we are going to use the shortcode block from the Gutenberg native blocks, and then paste our shortcode here and then update. Now let's see how it looks in the front end. So now we have our simple straightforward contact form here. And that's how all the forms using contact form 7 looks like. They don't have any inbuilt styling option. And now let's go ahead and redesign this form so that we can make it look something like this. Now in order to recreate this form, we need to add few more fields and rename some of them. So here we can see a label, your name, and under that we have a text field. So if we keep that in a single line, so let's rename this to first name, and we will also rename this here. And now let's copy this and paste it again, and then rename this to last name, and same goes here. So now we have the first name as well as the last name. So next is email and phone number. So we come back here. We already have an email field, so let's use that. So now we need to add a phone number field. So we click on this tell icon here, and let's name it phone number, and let's insert the tag. And now we can add a label as well. So let's copy this, paste it here, and then close the label tag. And now rename this to phone number. Alright, so now we have all these 4 fields added. So let's go ahead and save this form and see how it looks in the front end. So now you can see we have the first name, last name, email, and the phone number. Now after this, we are going to add this select option. So we come back here, and we don't need the subject field, so we will remove this. And here we are going to add a radio buttons. So let's click here, and we will call it maybe just options. And what options we need? We will add Google, and in the new line we will add Facebook, Twitter, and then we will insert tag, and again we can add a label here as well. So let's select this and rename this to that we have written here, how you find us. So now after saving this, let's go ahead and see how it looks in the front end. So after our 4 fields, we now have this radio button option. And after this, we just have a simple message box, which we already have here. So basically all the fields that we need are ready. And now we come back here in our contact page. Let's remove this shortcode. And here we will start by adding a row layout. And we will divide that into 2 columns. And maybe we will make it wide width. And let's reduce the width of left column. And here first we have this text. So let's add a heading. So we have TP heading here. So we will select this second style and then paste our main title here, and then we will copy the subtitle and then paste in the subtitle section. In the layout, we will align this to left and we will style that in a minute. So first we will select this complete column here and then we go to style, and for the background we are going to select some gradient. So here we can change the color option. So here we will choose the same purple shade but in a dark tone, and then we will change the angle, something like this. Alright, so now we can come back here in our title and go to style and then change the color to white. Let's increase the font size a little bit. And if we go down, here we have an option for subtitle. We will change the color to white and then change the font size to maybe. And for the title tag, we will choose P tag. And for the font size, we will choose 16 or 17 pixels. Alright, so if you come back here in this column and go to advanced, in the padding, we can add maybe 25 pixel padding from all around. And after this heading, we are going to add stylish list. First, we go to style and change the icon color. We will make this to light orange. And for the content, we are going to change the color to white. And here we have an option for padding. So we will uncheck this and we will add a 10 pixel from top and 10 pixel from bottom so that we can have a little bit of gap here. And now we can go back to layout and then add some text here. So we go to item number 0 and here we can just copy the details from here. And let's change the icon to phone. Alright, let's go to item number 1 and then copy this sample email ID. Let's change the icon to this envelope. And for the third one, let's copy this sample address. And once again, we will change this icon. And now after this, we have these social media icons. So we are going to click on this plus icon here. And here we will search for TP social icons. So this is the TP social icon. Let's select this. And we can choose the style from here. So maybe we can select this one. And here is an option to select whatever social network you want. So we already have Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter added here. If you click on Facebook, all you need to do is just enter the Facebook page URL here. And then you can change the style of icons. So let's say for the background, we don't need any color. But for the border, we will add our orange shade, and same for the color. And now we can just duplicate this and then change the network to maybe YouTube, then enter the URL. Let's duplicate it again. This time we will choose Instagram. And you can add as many social networks as you want. And make sure you add the text here in the title so that you can easily recognize. So we can go ahead and change this to YouTube. And next one is Instagram, and the last one is Twitter. So now we have these social media icons. You can play around with other style from here, but we will leave it as it is. And now on the right hand side column, we will add another block, and then we will search for external form styler. So let's select this, and here it's asking us to select a form. So if we go on the right hand side layout settings, here we have the first option selected as contact form 7. If you take a look, we have other form options as well. What it means is that not just contact form 7, using this external form styler, you can style all these forms here. So no matter which form plugin you are using, you can easily style them from this plus block. So in our case, we are going to select contact form 7. And here is the contact form. It is fetching the details from the backend. Let's select our form here. And now you see our contact form added here. And right out of the box, it looks very different from the normal contact form 7. And that is because it already got styled using the native theme of this external form styler block. But now using this external form styler, we can customize and redesign every single bit of this. So let's go ahead and save this here. Let's update this page and see how it looks in the front end. So this was the old look of our contact form 7. So this is how it looks in the front end, and you can already see that it looks nothing like a normal contact form 7. So now we can come back here in our page editor, and for this form styler, we have some settings here. And if we go in style, we can style everything about this form. So let's say you want to change this label color. So you can do that from here. So now all the labels will turn to red, but we are going to use a little bit of gray shade here. So we will stick to this color, and you can also change the typography of the labels. So maybe we can reduce the font size a bit. And for the input field, you can again change every style here. And let's say for the text, we will keep it dark black. And for the background, we will choose this white color. And for the border, we are going to choose a gray shade border. And we will add this border only at the bottom. We are going to remove this blue color from here, and this is coming from the outer field section here. So let's click on this, and for the background, we are going to remove this background from here so that our field is visible like this. And we are also going to remove this box shadow. So let's remove everything from here. And for this outer field, we can go ahead and reduce the padding a bit so that all the fields will come a little bit closer. Maybe we can add a padding from left and right. So let's add 10 from the right and 10 from the left. Now let's go ahead and update this and see how it looks in the front end. So let's refresh this as well. And now we can see we have a pretty clean form here. Now for this column number 1, we go to style, and for the border radius, we are going to add 10 pixel from the top, 0 from the right, 0 from the bottom, and 10 pixel from the left. And with that, we will get this rounded corners from top left and bottom left. And for the column number 2, again we go to style. We will add a background color. So maybe a very little gray shade. And for this one, we will add border radius. Now we will add 0 on the top, 10 from the right, and 10 from the bottom, and 0 from the left. And with this, we will get this rounded corner from the top right and bottom right. Along with that, maybe we can add some gap between all these elements. So we select this stylish list. We go to advanced, and then add a 20 pixel top and 20 pixel bottom padding. And same for this social media icons. We go to spacing and do the same for top and bottom. Maybe just top. Let's update this. So this is how our form looks like in the front end. Let me just zoom out a little bit so that we can have a clear view of complete form. So of course it looks way better than a normal contact form 7. Now you can leave this form as it is, but we are going to step into some advanced styling, and we are going to rearrange these fields maybe in just one row. But for that, we are going to need a little bit of HTML code. And if you're someone who is not familiar much with HTML, then don't worry, I'll try my best to keep it as simple as possible. So in order to make our form look like this, we need to add a little bit of code here so that these two fields will be added in one single row. And that HTML code looks like this. Now don't get overwhelmed with this. Let me explain how everything works. First, let me just copy this code from here, and we have our first name and last name here. So what we are going to do is, let's paste our HTML code here. And if you notice, here is a class, it says row. It means that it's first going to create a complete row, and that row will be divided in some columns. So let's see how it works. First, let's add this first name into this div. Let me give a little bit of space here so that we can understand how the structure is working. Now let's copy this again and paste here. And this time we are going to copy our last name. Let's paste it here and let's remove these two fields. So now we have a row. And under this we have another div which got 12 columns. So our complete structure of this row will be divided into 12 equal columns. And for the large screen, which is denoted by LG, it means that this label, first name, will occupy 6 columns to show this text field. And once it is in the mid dimensions, like for tabs, it is again going to occupy 6 columns. So the number 6 here denotes that how many columns it will occupy to show this in the front end. And in the same way, for small screens like on our mobile screen, it is going to occupy complete 12 columns. So what's happening here is that we have 12 columns, and to show this single first name field for desktop, we are going to occupy 6 columns, and for the rest of the 6 columns for large screen, that is monitor or the normal computer screen, we are going to show the last name field. And for the tablets, we are going to again use the 6 columns so that both these fields will be in one single row. But for the mobile, we will use 12 column. So if they are going to use 12 column, it means that they are going to occupy complete row structure, and both of the fields will fall one below the other. Now let's see how it looks in the front end. Let's save this here. So now you see our first name and last name are in one single row and 2 columns. Now let's see what happens when we see this form on a mobile device. So let's go to inspect and change this to a mobile device. And now you see that we are occupying the 12 columns of our structure, and both of the fields are falling one below the other. So it means that our HTML is working perfectly fine. Now let's see what happens if we see this form on a tablet, that is a mid-size screen, maybe iPad Air. So now you see we still have the 2 columns. And for the desktop, it's again coming back to the 2 column layout. So in the same way, we can do this for email as well as the phone number field. So let's come back to our form and let's copy this entire code and paste it again below this. And here we are going to copy this email field. Let's paste it here. Let's copy our phone number field and then paste it here. And now let's get rid of these 2 lines and let's save the form. And let's refresh it again. And now our email as well as the phone number field are also in a 2 column layout. And again, they are using the same structure. That is, they are going to use 12 columns and they will use 6 columns for one single field. But for the mobile, they are going to occupy the complete 12 column structure. Now for this multiple radio button option, we are going to occupy the complete 12 column structure. So for that, we don't need this first div with the row class. We are only going to use this column 12 div. Let's paste it here and let's cut this from here and paste it under this. So now in order to show this field in the complete 12 column structure, we are going to add 12 here as well as in our mid screen. So what it means is that we have a 12 column structure, and for large screen, mid screen and small screen, we are going to occupy the complete 12 column structure. So this field will be visible in the complete row. So let's see how it looks in the front end. So now you see we have this field in one complete row, and we are going to do the same for this message box as well. So let's come back here and let's copy this code from here and let's enclose our text box in this code. And at the very bottom we have our submit button, and for this we are going to use a 3 column structure. We need to come back here on the very top. We will copy this code. Let's paste it here, and as you can see we have 2 column structure here. So let's copy this one more time, and in order to make this in a 3 column structure for the large screen, we are going to choose 4 column, and we are going to use same for the all 3, and we are going to do the same for our mid screen as well. And we are going to make it 12 for our mobile screen. So what's going to happen here is that our 12 column structure will get divided into 3 equal parts. So we are going to leave first one blank, and we are going to add our button in this second structure, and we are going to leave the third one blank as well. Now let's save this here and see how it looks. So now you see we have our button right in the middle. But if we take a look in the mobile device, it's occupying the complete width. It means that it's occupying the complete 12 column structure. So by using this custom HTML code, you can customize the look of your form here, and this is going to work regardless what theme you are using on your WordPress site. If you are using the Plus blocks, this code will definitely work. So with that, we have completely redesigned our contact form 7, and it no more looks like a boring form like this. So this is how easy it is to style your contact form 7 and various other forms using the Plus add-ons for Gutenberg. So if you like this video, then make sure you hit the like button, and if you want to learn more about such amazing features of Plus add-ons for Gutenberg, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we upload our next video. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video.